Hello everybody, it's Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. Today is Monday, September 7th. It's Labor Day in the United States. And I think there are going to be many of us filming Flosstubes today, enjoying the day off from work. And it was just about time for me to do an update. So here we are. I have, as usual, a lot of stuff to show you. I always do. Several whips, one finish, and a lot of haul because I still haven't been able to restrain myself. So lots of purchases to show as well. And I want to talk about some plans for September. So where to start? I mean, I guess we should just start with some whips. We'll just dig right in. So, let's see. What was one of the first things I was stitching on? So, after I filmed my last video, I went back to this whip. Whip means work in progress if you're new here. Just means something I am stitching on that I haven't completed yet. So, I went back to Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker, which a lot of you are stitching right now. And a few of you have finished recently. So I'm using the called for floss, and I'm actually using the called for fabric, which is Picture This Plus Murky. Interesting thing about this pattern, it looks really big, but this fits on a fat eighth of 40 count. So didn't end up needing as big of a piece of fabric as I suspected I would. So anyway, I went back and finished, I started in the center, so I went back and finished that witch, and then I did the little motif next to the witch, and it was really fun to stitch. This needle minder is from Top Knot Stitcher. She has, I think, 8 different crypts and mausoleums. I got 3 or 4 because I love them. But yeah, there is my progress since last video. See, it's a pretty small piece of fabric. It looks a lot bigger than it is. So that said, I don't know if I'll be getting back to this anytime soon. But I do feel like I've knocked out the densest part of the stitching by getting that witch done. I think everything else should go pretty quickly. That little ghost might take a while, but I think we'll move pretty fast after that. So then I stitched on this pattern I'm just absolutely in love with. This is Hello from Liz Matthews. This is Quaker Pumpkins. It's this pattern, I mean, this design is absolute perfection. It's like everything I could ever want. The theme, the Quakers, the colors, I just love it so much. I bought this the second I could. I'm using the called for colors, and I'm stitching it on Picture This Plus 40 count fawn, which was, I believe, a new color at market. It's F-A-U-N. Not like the Fortnite fawns, but fawn, F-A-U-N. How is that different from F-A-W-N? I don't know. Anyway, I love it on this fabric. This is my other crypt needle minder from Top Knot Stitcher. And I finished the biggest pumpkin there in the middle, and I stitched a few of the little motifs, and I did a little bit of the border. I'm playing a little bit of margin chicken on this, I believe. This is the top, so I guess I'm okay. I think I'm gonna have like just an inch on the sides though. I think I'm tight on the sides, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sorry about this huge wrinkle in the middle. This has been folded up for about 2 weeks, so sorry about that. I love the called for floss. I love, like, this is Weeks Dye Works Tiger's Eye, and look how much like variegation there is in that. It's looking amazing. And I do really love it on this fabric. And I love Liz Matthews so much, and she just released some new patterns, and I pre-ordered those from Top Knot Stitcher. They're not here yet, but I'll probably get those like this week or next week. So Liz Matthews can do no wrong. While I'm talking about Liz Matthews, let me just throw this out there. One of my local stitchy friends last week was like, you didn't tell me that Liz Matthews is Kathy Barrick's daughter. And I was like, well, I'm really sorry. I thought everybody knew that. So in case you aren't aware, just so I can tell everybody, Liz Matthews is Kathy Barrick's daughter. Kathy Barrick, a designer on her own, but also designed under Carriage House Samplings, and is also, you know, flawless and can do no wrong. So that is the dynamic mother-daughter duo that is just, I need to stitch like everything that they design. I have some haul, some haul from Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, and it's some of the new Kathy Barrick designs. So I'll show you when I get to those. Okay, so then I started, okay, so this was one I ordered, and I started the day I got it because I just am absolutely obsessed with this. So Rocio, Kokohama Stitchery, who if you are not watching, you should, because she's fantastic. So Rocio was showing her when she was home in the States, because she lives in the Bahamas, but when she was home a month or two ago in Texas, she showed all of the things she's bought in the last like 6 months, which she's had shipped to her parents in Texas, because, you know, shipping to the Bahamas, I don't even know how much that would cost. Anyway, she was showing her haul, and she showed this pattern, and like I paused the video and like went hunting for it immediately. Like I mean, I had to have it. I had to have it. So I ordered this on Amazon, and I didn't realize at the time, but it was coming from Great Britain. I don't think it really clearly said that on the listing, but that's fine. And shipping wasn't bad. I think it was like $6.95. It wasn't bad at all. But when I got the shipping notice and it said Royal Mail, I was like, oh, this is gonna take a while. It wasn't too bad. I think it was maybe took 10 days or something. So it wasn't too bad. But I was just so excited because I wanted to start it immediately. So this is Lennarte, and this is called African Woman. It's a full kit. It comes with a 27 count even weave, which is printed, and then it comes with all of the floss, which I read somewhere is just DMC floss, but it's not, the numbers aren't on there, so I couldn't tell you what DMC it is. She's so beautiful. She's so pretty. And there's actually some other really cool patterns in this series. I really want this one as well. And I like this one a lot. That's on black fabric, so that would be interesting. So I had to start her immediately, like I said. And I worked on her for several days, and I feel like I made really good progress on her. So here's the fabric. This is really pretty. It's printed this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of deserty. I think it's really nice. It's nice to stitch on. It's an even weave, not a linen, so that's really nice. And here's how far I've gotten on her. So this is her jaw and her mouth. So she's you know, she's pretty intense. She's pretty intense. And this is full coverage, so she won't be done quickly, but she's just so beautiful. The kit is really nice. This is my first time having a Lennarte project. It's all very nice. The only complaint I have about this is I think naming her African woman is just really weird and generic. I don't know. Like, I think we could have done better than that. Like, it's just such a weird name to me. African woman. I am calling her Amari. And that is after a character from Children of Blood and Bone, which was a series I read really recently. And she just looks to me like how I pictured Amari in the book. So that's what I'll be referring to her as. I want to get back to her. She's stunning. So the fun thing about this pattern is you really have to trust the pattern, because as I'm stitching this, it's calling for some weird colors. Like here in this area, it called for like some burnt orange and bright orange colors. And I was like, this doesn't quite seem right. But you can see the overall effect, it totally works. So trust the pattern. Just trust the pattern. Because you're gonna, if you were to stitch this, because it looks a little crazy. And then I did a lot of work on some secret stitching that I cannot show you guys, but I am stitching, model stitching some Hemlock and Rye new designs, and I will show you those as soon as they're ready. But I probably did, I'm looking at this now, I probably have done 4,000 stitches. So, I mean, I spent a good week on that. You will be seeing that shortly. What else did we work on? Oh, so, randomly pulled out an old whip that I thought was close to a finish that I'm just ready to be done with. This is Stacy Nash, Cherry Hollow Farm. This was a market kit, so it came with linen and floss in this little bag, and I think it might have been 2015 or 2016 market, maybe 2016. A really pretty sampler, and I am so close to a finish, so I fully intend to finish this today after this video. This is Weeks Dye Works 35 or 36 count beige, and then all the called for Weeks flosses. And all I have left to do is this red fill-in and then a little bit of brown in the bricks. That is it. Probably like less than 500 stitches left in that. And then it's done. I'm so excited. I've loved this project, but it took longer than I thought. Like several times I've pulled it out thinking, oh, I can finish that. It's so close to a finish, you know, and then I actually get into it and I'm like, no, it's not. But it is now. I am finishing this today. So next video, this will be a finish, maybe even an FFO, because I think I already have a frame for this too. So I cannot wait to finish that, and I absolutely love it. So that will be what I'm working on today until done, and then I think I'm going to be back to model stitching my new designs. What else did we work on? So on August 29th or 30th, one or the other, I pulled out the stitch along I'm doing with my friend Amy, Gable Stitcher. We are buddy stitching this really old R&R Reproductions Designer's Motif Sampler. This is a really old chart. It's hand drawn. The year is 1997. And, oh, sorry. I'm not looking forward to all this grass here. So Amy, my birthday is January 29th. Amy's birthday is July 30th. And so we decided on the 29th and or 30th of every month, we will stitch on this project together. So if, you know, we don't have to do both days, but one of those days. Or we can do both days. So if, you know, if I just can't swing both days one month, that's fine as long as I hit one of the days. So it just kind of keeps us accountable. Like 29th and 30th, it's time to get our sampler out. I'm stitching mine on 36 count Lakeside Linen and Maritime and Vintage Maritime White. And I am playing margin chicken on this. Look, my border is like an inch. But it's fine. I have the top third done. And I've started the over one verse. And let me tell you, I did one night of that over one verse, and I was like, I'm finishing this line and then I'm putting this away. And future Julie is gonna have to deal with the rest of this because there's 4 lines of verse here. It just, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just really a pain to stitch over one on 36 count. So I was like, I only have 1 line in me. That's all I've got in me tonight. But I really do love the way it's looking. This is all cross stitch except for this whole border here. This is all rice stitch with eyelet stitches in the middle. Look at all those rice stitches. And it's all DMC so far. But I really do like, I really like stitching on that, and I like that I'm kind of forced in a way to revisit it every month. It's good. It's good for me. So the last whip that I have to show you guys is Stitching Book Club, Frankenstein Stitch Along. I decided to jump in. I decided it was time. So this is a Stitch Along hosted by Sapphire Mountain Crafts on Etsy. And she is, I think she's doing 4 times a year. She's hosting a read along and a stitch along. And I just loved the teaser for Frankenstein that she showed, and I decided I needed to get in on that, and I did. And she's released part 1, and I've got that done. So I'm stitching mine on 40 count, so it's itty bitty bitty, and it's 40 count Picture This plus Murky. And here is, I am caught up. I haven't started the book yet, but I'm caught up on the stitching. So look how tiny it is. It's so little. Oh, it's so cute. Super fun to stitch so far. So for this stitch along, she's like, pick any floss and fabric you want. It the way she's designing it is as a monochrome sampler. So she's stitching her with just one color. She's stitching hers with just one color of DMC. And I was going to do just one color. So I had the border done, and I was going to do the whole thing in this foresty green color. But then my friend Andrea, Stitchy Bookworm, she's stitching this as well. And she picked out like 4 or 5 color and cottons, and she showed me hers because she's just kind of randomly picking colors. And I just loved the way hers looked. I'm just like obsessed with it. So I was like, okay, I've got to get on this. Like, I've got to jump in on this. So I went and looked at my floss, and I picked out a color, like a palette, and I'm calling it Moody Goth. This is my Moody Goth palette. And I'm just, as each section releases, I'm just going to pick random colors to put in. So there's a couple of colors I picked for this part and for, oh, this part down here. These stitched really fast too. The border didn't take that long. I think it took me like 3 stitching sessions. And then to do the 2 blocks took two nights. So not bad at all. I really think I can keep up with this stitch along. Now, I did tell Amy that I was not allowed to sign up for any more stitch alongs. And I told her, if I tell you I'm going to, you need to tell me no. And she's like, okay. And so she did. I will, to her credit, she told me no. And I said, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And then she signed up and she started it too. So, but I think I can keep up with this one. Like I think I will finish this one on time, which I think it ends, like, I want to say it ends either like October 1st or sometime in October. But anyway, I think I can do it. This might be the first time in my life that I keep up with and finish a sal on time. So we'll see. So that was all of my whips. And then I had one finish. So this was my lunchtime stitching project at work. And I was buddy stitching this with my friend Victor. He doesn't do Flosstube, but he's on Instagram. His handle is FlawedSir. And he had sent me this as a gift. He sent me the pattern, the fabric, and the floss. It's a pattern from the Scarlet House called My Gift to Thee. It's a really small, cute little pattern. So it didn't take that long to stitch, but just only being able to do it for 30 minutes at work, it took a little while to finish it up. But this is a 35 count Access Commodities, I think in just like raw natural, something like that. And it's 35 count, but I did 2 strands over 2 on this. And I really love it. And I'm going to make it a cute little pillow. This was for Christmas in July, or Kissmas in July stitch along. So but I started it like July 31st. So I finished this in August. So it took me about a month of lunchtime stitching. I think I might have stitched some other things in between there. This might not have been my project every day. Anyway, that's my finish. And next video, hopefully that will be a fully finished object. So stay tuned. I'm just going to do a simple pillow with like a cute pom-pom trim, probably. Okay, so let's do some stash. Like, why not? I have so much. I have so much. Okay. So first, and probably my favorite, I finally broke down and ordered some Fortnite fabrics. I've been meaning to for months. And I've just kind of like hadn't like pulled the trigger yet. And then they released a new collection and I was like, oh yeah, okay, it's time. I'm making an order. And then I was like, you know, I was about to start model stitching a fall design. And I was like, I think one of these fabrics might be perfect for that design. So I placed an order. And then I was telling my friend Noah Stitches, who is like taking Flosstube by storm because we're all like in love with those baby blue eyes. Noah Stitches. I was telling Noah about, you know, I ordered a ton of fabrics from Fortnite, and I think I'm gonna, you know, try to model stitch something on them. And he's like, well, I'm leaving tomorrow to go visit them. And I was like, oh, that's, you know, that's amazing. That's going to be so fun. And you can like hear all about their adventures on Noah's channel or on Married with Stitches, which is Fortnite Fabrics, which is Christian and Derek. They've already done like recap videos of their trip. So anyway, Noah's like, while I'm there, I'll put in a good word for you. and see if they can get your order out quick. And I'm like, that would be amazing, because, you know, most hand dyers, and there's nothing wrong with this, but most hand dyers, you know, have a turnaround time of a couple of weeks, or even 4 to 6 weeks, or even more than that sometimes. So I was, you know, prepared to have to wait a little while for these. But I had a friend on the inside, so he had them kind of put my order up towards the top. So I got these super fast, and they are so lovely, you guys. So Christian and Derek also did include some extras, and I'm not going to necessarily say what was what, because I don't know if they would be comfortable with that, but they did include some extras, which I appreciate so much. So the first fabric, this is from their new collection. This is called Deep Fried, and I am model stitching on this right now. So there's a little sneak peek. So I need to cut off all this extra fabric. But this is 32 count. This is deep fried. It's lovely. I think that color's showing up really good. So stay tuned for a new Hemlock and Rye design on this fabric. The other fabric from their new collection is called Grandma's Stuffin'. This is so good. So this I also got in 32 count. And this was my other, I figured one of these would work. So for my model stitching, I try to do on 32 count, even though generally I like to stitch on 40, because I know that a lot of you stitch on 28 or 32, and I kind of want to know like floss count and stuff for my models. So I'm generally going to do my models on 32 count. But I ended up not using this for that particular design, but I might use it for something else. So then I bought myself a piece of 40 count for whatever. So this is Grandma's Stuffin'. It's so good. I love a good like grungy golden yellow. Also, their fabric smells amazing. It smells so good. And then from a previous collection, I got 40 count Caravan Tan, which I just think is going to be an absolutely perfect neutral. It's not too crazy or mottled. It's just a really, really nice, like it's just perfect. Such a good neutral. And then I got some fun colors from them. I got Navajo Treasure. This is beautiful. And there is a difference from side, you know, when you go to start stitching on these, you kind of have to decide like which side you like. Some of them have like a more intense color on one side than the other. So that's kind of fun. This one is called Eccentric Sky. I love this one. It's blue, but it's got just a hint of purple. Like almost a periwinkle. And it does look like a sky. So this will be great for a pattern that has like, that could use like a blue cloudy background. And then this one is so fun. This is called Luminous Warmth. This isn't, that's showing up really true. It's a intense like marigold butterscotch. It's like pow. So thank you so much, Fortnite Fabrics, for the gorgeous fabrics. I'm really excited about all of them. They are all really good, really beautiful. Like I said, they smell really good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And I can't wait to show you guys my new design once I'm done stitching it. So, okay, what else did we get? Okay, so even though I told Amy I couldn't have any more sals, I had been kind of keeping my eye on the Autumn Lane Stitchery Dark Queen of the Seas stitch along when they announced it, and I was like, no, nope, 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 not gonna do it, nope. And then they showed like the beautiful fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I was like, oh, it's so good. Those are my favorite colors, like purple and that blue, like that teal blue. And I was like, no, you don't need it. And then they released part 1, and I was like, no, I'm good. And then I just kept looking at it, and I kept looking at it, and I realized why I kept getting drawn to this stitch along, and it's because it reminds me of Lisa Frank. And I hope that's not like offensive to anybody, but like the colors are so bright and crazy, and it just reminds me of Lisa Frank, and I love Lisa Frank, so I bought this stitch along. So this is part 1 that's come out, and here's the fabric that Under the Sea has dyed. And then I get, like, you can see this kind of shadowy outline, so I imagine they're telling us this is what is coming. But it's still going to be awesome to get each piece. So I just bought this, and I ordered the fabric, and I don't know how long it's going to take. Under the Sea Fabrics, you know, does have a turnaround time, I think, of 4 to 6 weeks. However, Leslie LaFleur, the dyer for Under the Sea Fabrics, the owner, had posted in the Stitch Along group that she did dye, like she kind of like pre-dyed some fabric for the stitch along. So after she sent out like the initial order of everybody who had their stuff together and ordered it on time, after she got that wave out, she said she went ahead and dyed some more. And so she said, you know, if you have selected a count that I did dye extras of, then you will get your order. It won't be 4 to 6 weeks. You'll get it much sooner than that. So I'm like crossing my fingers that I think I ordered just the 32 count linen, not there was a crystal option, like a sparkly option. I didn't get that. I just got like the straight 32 count. So I'm hoping that that's one that she like pre-dyed, and that I'll get mine sooner. But it's okay if I don't. Like, I'm fully prepared to wait the 4 to 6 weeks if I have to. But then I will be falling a little bit behind on this stitch along. So we'll see. We'll see. It's fine. It's fine. I'll get it when I get it. It was, I couldn't resist any longer. So, Amy, I will say Amy is doing her part and telling me, hey, you said no more stitch alongs. Like, she is doing her part. I'm just not listening to her. So, okay. So, I ordered some more stuff from Top Knot Stitcher because I literally, can't help myself. I go to her website. I mean, I place about 2 or 3 orders a week these days. So anyway, so here is the Kathy Barrick, one of the new Kathy Barrick designs. This is called Jack's Urn. This is Liz Matthews' mother, Kathy Barrick. I absolutely love it. Had to have it. I also had to have these Lila's Studio Halloween patterns. One is called All Hallows Eve and one is called Harvest Time. So this is All Hallows Eve and this is Harvest Time. And they're about the same size. And I think they're so cute. Had to have those. They're not too big. They're 99 by 125. I randomly threw in this Madame Chantilly Black Cat chart because I kept like almost buying it every time I went to her website. So finally I was like, I'm just going to get it. And it's a good thing I did because she's sold out now. Look how cute that is. Oh, and I got this needle minder, which I absolutely love. It's a, I saw this on Rocio, Cocohamas Stitchery. I saw this on her channel and I was like, I need that. It is a Ouija planchette, and it says, "We are the weirdos, mister," which is a quote from The Craft. Rocio was asking in her Flosstube. She's like, I can't, it's on the, like, it's in my mind. What's it from? And like everybody in the comments was like, it's from The Craft, which I was like obsessed with in high school. Maybe not high school. It might have been like 8th grade. Anyway, I love this needle minder. What else did I get? What else did I get? I got so much stuff. So this is not the best photo of this, but on Etsy, I bought this new pattern from Thread Sewer. It's called Double Double, but I'm not sure why, but she has an actual like model of this. I don't know why it's not on this pattern. If you go to her Instagram, she has a model of this pattern, which, you know, this mock-up does not do it justice. The model is awesome. So I had to have that, and I need to start that soon. Oh, and then Lindy Stitches released a new pattern, and I feel like we all freaked out. Like, I feel like everybody went and bought it. This is Dracula's Confession, and she gave us 2 designs. So there's this one and there's this one, and they both have some like the same elements but are a little different. I'm gonna do this top one. I feel like that's what most people are gonna do. Ooh, I'm sorry about that glare, guys. So actually Diana, It Is Kismet Stitches, sent me a message, and she's like sent this to me, and she's like, did you see this? And I was like, I love it. I need it. I have to have it. I went to Lindy's website or Stephanie's website, Lindy Stitches, and she had a floss pack, and I snatched it up. So I got the PDF and the floss pack. And then she sent me an email, and she sent a video message to me, and she said I was the first person to buy the new pattern. I was number 1, which meant my order went out like first thing, and I got it super fast. So I bought the floss pack, which is absolutely so beautiful, you guys. It's just these luscious fall colors. So it's all Weeks Dye Works with 1 Dinky Dye silk. So just these beautiful fall colors, and then this gorgeous silk. I cannot wait to stitch this. I'm going to do this on 32 count copper penny by, I think this is Zweigart. It's very subtly modeled. I don't know if it's showing for you guys, but it does have like a very subtle modeling. And I think she stitched hers on Murky, and I had used all my Murky up, and I didn't want to wait. And I think this will work really well. And if you stitch this on 32 count, it fits in an 8x10 frame. So you don't have to go get a special frame. You can buy a frame off the shelf, which Stephanie at Lindy Stitches has talked about that in previous videos, that's something that she's very mindful of when she's designing. And when she can, she will try to make her patterns to where they will fit in a standard frame so that you don't have to go pay an arm and a leg for a custom frame. So that is very nice. I had been meaning to buy this pattern for a while, and I kept forgetting. So I finally went and bought this pattern from Darling Whimsy Designs. This is HF 1916 sampler. It should be a really quick stitch. It's beautiful. And I've got fabric ready for this. I'm going to do this on a 40 count parchment from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I haven't picked a floss yet, but I've got something in stash that will work fine. I had to get Jennifer Whistle Stop Stitcher. I had to get her new Christmas designs. I got her Halloween designs in the last video, and now she's got Christmas ones. So this is a trio of Christmas designs, and I absolutely love these, and I love the way she finished them. I will absolutely copy that finishing, I think. And these are on her Etsy, Whistle Stop Stitcher designs. And they're very reasonable. I think it's like maybe $8 for all three of them. They look like they'll stitch pretty fast too. Okay, and then I got this random pattern the other day on Etsy. The seller is Ba Meow. And this is a Beetlejuice pattern, and it's so good, you guys. Okay, so here's the seller, Ba Meow. And here's the pattern, and I mean, it's great. But this just, yes. Lydia Dietz, also really good. This is really good. Like the detail. Yeah. I needed it. I love Beetlejuice. I love Beetlejuice. Okay. I think that's all my haul. No, I lied. Okay. This is the last of the haul. Also from Top Knot Stitcher. Also something I had to pre-order the second I saw it. New pattern from Tiny Modernist. This is called Stitch Goddess, the Stitch Goddess. And I mean, it's me, basically, except for I just cut my hair. But my hair was this long. Love her. Beautiful. Stunning. Amazing. Had to have it. Okay, so that's all my haul. I wanted to show you guys, a couple pieces of fabric I dyed the other day, or yesterday. I dyed them yesterday. This is, I think this is 32 count. This was 32 count linen. And it came out a little darker than I wanted, but it'll be okay. I wanted like just the barest hint of gray, but it actually came out pretty dark. I don't know what's up with these huge white spots. Like, I am no expert in dyeing. I literally just throw fabric in a bowl with some Rit dye and just hope for the best. But what I'm going to stitch on this should cover up these blotches. And if it doesn't, I don't care. It's worse on one side. I think it's worse on this side than it is on this side. I think it'll be fine. And then I dyed this piece. This was like a Jobelin, so it's like a synthetic fiber. So it took the dye really, really differently. It wasn't the same dye. It was a different dye soak, but not much variation in there. Kind of just a little bit. So for me, like, a lot of people ask me about Rit dyeing. I really don't have like a method. I literally like take a big bowl, put some hot water in it, throw some Rit dye in. I use the liquid Rit dye, and I'll just mix random colors until I like the way it looks. And then I soak the fabric for 30 minutes and then I rinse it out. Like, if you go into it hoping for something really particular, you might be disappointed. But if you go into it as just like a fun science experiment, you sometimes get some really cool results. So the last thing I dyed, I actually really like this one a lot. I was going for like a black. It's not quite as dark as I wanted, but it'll work. It's good. There's almost like some rainbow effect going on. There's some red, some green, and some navy in there. So I have projects for all of these. Those were like specific, I specifically dyed them for projects, but you'll see that whenever I start those. So let's talk about some plans. I have a couple of things I'm planning to do this month, and I want to talk to you about them. So first of all, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I had been stitching Mirabilia Snow Queen every time we got snow in Colorado. Now, where I live in the foothills outside of Boulder, we don't get as much snow as up in the mountains. So we are at the foot of the mountains. So we're the foothills because we have some elevation and we have some good size hills, but we're not in the mountains, right? I'm right, literally Boulder is tucked into the base of the mountains. So up in the mountains, they get more snow than we do in the foothills, but we still get a lot of snow. So typically it will snow in Colorado where I am from late October up until about mid-May, which I do realize sounds insane. Literally half of the year you can get snow. But when you get when you get snow in October, it's usually just like a little dusting and then it's gone. We don't get like closed schools kind of snow until usually like January, February, March. And that's like March is usually when we might get some snow days. So, and then up until about mid-May, we'll get like a random snow. So there's a good chunk of the year that it could snow here. And so every time it snowed, I would get out my Mirabilia Snow Queen, and I finished her in the spring. So I needed a new snow project for this winter. And again, it usually does not snow here until late October. But something crazy is happening. We are going to get snow tomorrow, September 8th, and they are calling for 6 to 8 inches of snow tomorrow. Now, that said, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, it was almost 100 degrees. And today, Monday, it is a high of 90. So it is currently 90 degrees outside. But by sunset, it's going to drop to 30 degrees. So we are having a crazy cold front come in. The weather is going to drop rapidly, and we are going to get a ton of snow. However, we're really unsure like what tomorrow is going to look like because the roads are so warm that we're guessing that the snow is not going to accumulate very much on the roads and maybe will accumulate a little bit like in the trees. We'll see what happens, but it's definitely going to snow and it's going to dump snow. We just don't think it's going to actually like build up on the ground. This is not normal, not typical. Like I said, it usually doesn't snow until late October. I think they said this is the first time in 20 years that the Denver area will have accumulated snow in September. So it's not normal. But I needed a new snow project. So again, Rocio, Kokohama Stitchery. She was in the spring, she was working on this Mirabilia Santa's Magic. And I had this as a kit. And I started thinking like, maybe that could be my snow project. And she's like, yeah, you should do that and stitch it with me. Hello. Although she's really far on this, like she's gonna finish this, not if she really thinks about it. I think she's got like pretty much all of this done. I think she just needs to do this part. Anyway, I had the kit. I saw her stitching on it and I was like, yeah, I need to do that. So I'm going to start this tomorrow. it's an older kit. This DMC, you can tell it's like old label DMC. And it comes with all the Kreinik and the Whisper and the beads. She was telling me the beads are pink instead of red, and she's not wrong. This is the first time I'm looking at it. She's like, I think she said she changed out the beads because she's like, those are pink. Why am I putting pink beads on Santa? And I was like, no, it can't be that bad. But now that I see it, she's right. Like, this is pink. I might just still do it. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get to that section. It calls for a, what count is it? A 32 count Witchelt Desert Sand linen, and that's what came in the kit. And that's what I'll be using. It looks a little darker on the cover. It's the biggest piece of linen, you guys. Like, I was scared how big this thing's gonna be, because this is 32 count. Look how big this is. How big is Santa gonna be? I hope there's like just a 5-inch margin around Santa, because that is huge. And this isn't 28 count, this is 32 count. All right, so that will be started tomorrow for my snow project, and then I probably won't get it out again for a month or two until we get our next snow, which will probably be in October, but we'll see, who knows? Climate change is real, folks. Climate change is real. So the last little bit of plans I want to talk to you guys about is, I know everybody is talking about September and everybody's doing sampler September. And I certainly have enough samplers that I could do that. But I was thinking about kind of like goals that I have and what I want to do right now. And I decided that I need to do Sal September. So if you remember in May for Mania, I did Sal Mania, and I picked 4 or 5 different stitch-alongs to work on in May, and it worked out really well. But I think I couldn't see really significant progress on any of them because I was not able to devote enough time because I was trying to rotate through 5. So this time I think I'm going to just kind of focus on 2. I have a 3rd like on standby if needed, but I doubt I'll get that far because remember I'm also model stitching through this month, and that's really going to be a big focus. But I picked 2 stitch-alongs that I really want to like get progress on. So my main goal for September is to catch up on Ingleside Imaginarium Witches Familiars. The full name is Kaluna Brightburn's Catalog for Witches Familiars. This is the September block that just came out. So I have 4 of the 9. So I have 5 to do. And they don't take that long, actually. They take like about 3 stitching sessions for me to do each one. So I do think I could catch up if I really try. So I'm looking at my margins going, oh, I hope I have enough there. I have plenty of room up here, but I'm a little worried about how much room I have at the bottom. Anyway, so here's where I'm at on this. This is a 40 count Victorian Motto fabric of the month that Amy gave me. It's so pretty. And so I've got 5 of these little guys to do. So that is my main goal, is to catch up on Witches Familiars. If I manage to do that, then I also would like to get some good progress. I certainly don't believe I can catch this up, but I would like to get some good progress in the Linen and Threads 2020 Mystery Stitch Along. Here is where that is at as of September 1st. And I am on April, on this one, which April is a big big motif. And everybody kind of stumbled on April. So April was this whole thing. Up until then, it would be like, you know, like January would be like a couple, and then February was like a couple, and then April comes out and it's this big one. So a lot of people actually, what they've done is they've moved ahead every month and then just chipped away at April. Like I've seen a lot of people that had January, February, and March done, didn't get April done. May came out and they went on to May and then went back to April, and they've just been like chipping away each month until that's done. I think that's smart. That one's a killer. So here's how far I am on this. I'm stitching this on 40 count mallow, and I'm using a DMC Color Variations, which is a blue to purple. It's a blurple. So again, I can't catch this up. There's my little start on April right there. I can't catch this up, but I do want to maybe get some progress on this. And then if for some reason, I really can't imagine I would get those caught up, but if I did, or if I'm just tired of working on them, I will get my cross stitcher Alice stitch along out and work on that. So those are my plans for September. So I'm doing stitch along September, September. Okay. So I think that's all I have for stitching, and I am now going to do some book talk. So if you don't particularly enjoy listening to me talk about books, that's totally fine. You can leave now and you won't miss anything else stitching wise. If you want to hear me talk about books, I've got a couple books to talk about. So let me grab my books. The first thing I read, but I'm going to talk about it last. Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Wings. No, that's the third book. This is the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, also called Akamath. I'm going to talk about this last because I cannot talk about this book without talking about a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't read this series and you're in the middle of it, this is book 2, and you don't want to hear spoilers, then you can click off when I get back to this. So I'll talk about what else I read. So, I read the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, which was a book I read last fall and absolutely loved. This is the sequel, Harrow the Ninth. So this is a sci-fi fantasy. It's adult. It's not young adult, which I know is a little out of my wheelhouse. This is an adult sci-fi series, and there is going to be a third book in the series. Gideon the Ninth, I absolutely loved this book. Let me grab it. It's over here. So what sold me on this series is the tagline at the bottom here. It says, lesbian necromancers explore a haunted Gothic palace in space. Decadent nobles vie to serve the deathless emperor. Skeletons. So this book, it's really hard to explain these books, honestly. They're set in a future universe, in a world that is nothing like ours. But I don't even know how to explain this. So there are, in Gideon the Ninth, the first book, there are two characters. Harrow is the necromancer of her house, and Gideon is her cavalier. A cavalier is basically like their right-hand man, their sword. So Harrow and Gideon embark on a competition to see if I don't even know how to describe it. There's 9 houses in this world, and they're in the 9th house, and all 9 houses send a necromancer and a cavalier into this competition. And the prize at the end is that you can achieve Lictorhood. Maybe it's Lictor. Like in my head I said Lictor, Lyctor. So they don't quite know. It's like a mysterious competition. They don't know how to win it, but somebody's going to win and they're going to become a Lictor. And a Lictor is a next level being that has even more magic than a necromancer, and serves the Emperor Undying, who is basically their god. So this book is insane. It's fun. It's complicated and it's hard. It's not for everyone. It's challenging. Part of, I believe, like the intention of the author is to keep you really confused. So she doesn't explain the magic. She doesn't explain the worlds. Like she just like drops you in and you have to figure it out yourself. And sometimes you literally are like, I don't know what the hell's happening right now, but it's written so well and so fun. It's like a wild ride. And so it's still super enjoyable, even when you're like, what? So some people hated this book because of that, because they needed to understand everything, and that's really difficult to do. But you do like get the overall, like you get enough, but there's definitely things that you're like, wait, what just happened? Like what? But it's hilarious. It's snarky. It's sarcastic. It's dark. It's super dark. It's just really, I loved it. So the sequel, Harrow the Ninth, just continues this world and this story. You get much, much deeper into what it means to be a Lictor, and craziness ensues. This book, honestly, was more confusing than Gideon the Ninth. So it was challenging. Like I definitely was like, what is happening? And I think part of my problem was I waited too long in between reading them. At one point, I just like put this down and went back and read the last 40 pages of Gideon. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay. This is coming back to me. But it just goes way, way deeper into the magic system and into this universe. And I didn't love it as much as Gideon, but I did like it quite a lot. But there's a different narrator. So the first book is narrated by Gideon, the Cavalier. This book is narrated by Harrow, the Necromancer. And I just didn't enjoy her as much, but it was still brilliant, witty, snarky, sarcastic, dark, creepy. It was still all of those things. I didn't love it as much, but I did like it a lot. And I mean, can we just look at the cover art for these books, because they're so beautiful. Look at that. Those are gorgeous. So I would highly recommend this series if you're not afraid of sci-fi, if you're not afraid of like craziness, if you're not afraid to be confused. Andrea Stitchy Bookworm just finished Gideon, and she's going to read Harrow soon. But I was messaging her as I was reading it, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I went to Goodreads and started looking at reviews, and I was just cracking up because people were like, I didn't understand half of this book, but I loved it. And that's like how I felt. And I can understand how that would be incredibly frustrating for some people. So if that's you, don't read it. But if you're not afraid of a challenge, if you enjoy sci-fi, if you enjoy like dark, witty, twisted humor, it's fun. It's good. It's a wild ride, literally. Okay, so then I was falling behind on my Goodreads challenge again. So I needed some quick reads. So I continued my reread of Toni Morrison's catalog of novels. I'm basically just working through them all again. And I picked up Sula. This is a really short book. It's like 160 pages, 165, 7. I'm looking like you guys really care. But it's super short. It's 174 pages. So I was able to knock this out pretty quickly. So I absolutely love Toni Morrison. She's my favorite author, probably. She can do no wrong. This book is, I think this was the second book she wrote. It was early in her career. And you can tell it's fabulous, but I feel like as she grew as an author, like her books got even more complex, longer, a lot more going on. This one's a little bit easier to read. It doesn't have as many themes to explore. It's short. It's to the point. But basically, there's a tiny little town in Ohio, and a very poor town. No commerce, no trade. And Sula and her friend Nell become like childhood best friends, and they're growing up together. And then Sula leaves. She goes to, I think, Chicago. She leaves for about a decade. Nell stays behind and gets married and just kind of settles into the life of this small town. Whereas Sula like moves on to bigger, better things. So then Sula comes back after a decade because I can't remember why, but she comes back, and then things happen. Sula does some pretty terrible things to to Nell, and the town kind of turns on her, and it's just an interesting look into like small town dynamics and living. It was really good. I'm trying to think like what else I would want to tell you about this without, you know, spoiling it. It's a short read. It's good. I mean, Toni Morrison can do no wrong. Sula is a pariah in the town. I was just reading that on the dust jacket. This is an original copy, by the way. I was looking, I found this at a thrift store for like $2. It was published, this edition was published in I lied. This was printed in 1993. Okay, ignore me. Ignore me. But I love the cover art. Okay, I feel like I'm really talking very poorly about books today, so I'm sorry. I just don't feel eloquent at all. Okay, so then another book that I had randomly picked up and just wanted to check out, but I specifically read this time because it was 300 pages and looked like it would read really quickly, was Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. So this is a contemporary young adult. So I have talked before about I don't tend to love contemporary young adult. I like fantasy young adult. But I absolutely loved this book. It is so cute and wholesome. It's just like a hug. So if you need like a pick-me-up, if you need some cute in your life, this book is so cute. So the main character, Simon, he's 16 years old and he is gay, but he is not out yet at school or even to his parents. So he's not like ashamed of being gay. He knows his parents will be fine with it. He knows it would be okay. He just hasn't quite like gotten to a place where he's ready to come out. So his school is in Georgia too, so a little more conservative. But his school has a Tumblr site where people will just like post gossip about the high school. And so he's on the school's Tumblr site and somebody posts like an anonymous little thing about just how they feel, and that at the end they say that they're gay. So Simon makes like a fake email account and he emails the person. And he's like, hey, I could really relate to your post. And they just start, like, basically they're pen pals. They just start emailing back and forth, and neither knows who the other is. They're both like using an alias, and neither is ready to tell the other who they are. So Simon develops this relationship through email with this person and starts to feel like he's falling in love with this person. And he's like, hey, I'm ready to meet you. Like, who are you? And the person is like, I'm not ready yet. So basically the book is just kind of his escapades, navigating high school parties, friendships, all the things, and falling for this person who he doesn't know their name or what they look like. But there is a happy ending, and it's just so cute. It's like warm and fuzzy. It's just the cutest book, you guys. And they made a movie. So the movie is called Love, Simon. And I actually watched the movie right after I read the book. And the movie is also so cute. It's really well done. So if you want to check out some super cuteness, read this book or watch the movie. The movie didn't change a ton from the book, but it took, you know, they're never true adaptations. They always change something. So overall it was, you know, it was pretty true to the novel with a few little changes. Really adorable. I loved it. Okay. So let's talk about Akamath. Let's talk about it. So there will be spoilers. The first book in this series is called A Court of Thorns and Roses. So if you plan to read this series from Sarah J. Maas and you don't want to have spoilers, then don't listen to the rest of this video. Okay, I have so many thoughts. Okay, so first of all, this book is humongous. Why is this book so long? It's 600 pages, 600 something pages, 620 pages. Why? I read it really fast too. Okay, so A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first book, features a human named Feyre. And Feyre lives just on the other side of a wall that divides the mortal human realm from fairy. So humans know fairies exist. They are looked at, both species like despise the other and don't interact and have nothing to do with each other primarily, with some exceptions. Like some humans do go into fairy and never return and whatever, but generally, like, they're looked on with suspicion and fear. So Feyre, in the first novel, is hunting for her to provide food for her family, because her family's like starving, which is a whole other story. But anyway, she sees a wolf and she kills it, and then it turns out it was really a fairy that could shapeshift. And then there's this whole like magical curse, and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but basically Feyre ends up being taken past the wall into fairy, into a home of the lord of the spring court in fairy, and his name is Tamlin. And the whole spring court has been cursed, and this is so weird, it's so random, but they all are cursed to have these masks. So there was like a masquerade ball, and they were all wearing masquerade masks when this curse happened to them. And so they all have to have these ugly masks on or something for some reason. Why? I'm not sure. So to break the curse, Tamlin, the spring court lord, has to get a human to fall in love with him. But like there's all these like conditions to the curse. It's so specific and it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Anyway, like it has to be like a human who hates fairies, but he has to like win her over, and she has to fall in love with him, and then she has to like explicitly say that she loves him. She can't, like, she has to say it out loud, and like all this stuff has to happen. The first book isn't great. Like, it's fine. It's fine, but it's not great. And I think people who have read the series and love the series will tell you that. Like, the first book is a little weak. But I had heard, you know, like, it gets so good, just keep reading. And I know that people are like obsessed with this series. So I knew that like something was going to change there. And I enjoyed the first book. I didn't not like it. It wasn't like, wow. So the first book ends with Feyre breaking the curse and freeing the spring court. And she's like engaged to Tamlin. And they're in love and all the things. Well, that all goes out the window in the second book. And I knew this. I had seen some spoilers. There's a character named Rhysand, and he is the lord of a different court, the Night Court. And he is kind of like the bad guy in the first book. And he makes Feyre do some crazy things, and he enters into a magical bargain with her. And he's just kind of a jerk in the first book. But I knew that he was ultimately her like true love, right? He's her mate. So I knew that in the second book something had to change, because she has to leave Tamlin and like hook up with Rhysand, right? So I knew it was coming. And so they kind of like, I gotta admit, like, they retcon Tamlin's character a little bit. She does explain like that the trauma that the characters go through in the first book, like the PTSD that they have from that trauma, is kind of what changes Tamlin's personality. But he basically becomes Edward Cullen. He's like super controlling, overprotective, overbearing. He like won't let Feyre leave the house. He's awful. He's the worst. So she, to fulfill her bargain that she made with Rhysand, in the first book, she had said that she had agreed to go spend 1 week a month with him at his court. So he comes to collect on the bargain, takes her away from Tamlin, and that taste of freedom and just being away from like the overbearing horribleness, she starts to like blossom and grow and whatever. So she goes to the Night Court and really starts to open her eyes to like how miserable she has been at the Spring Court. Now, I knew what was coming. I knew that Sarah J. Maas was going to kind of somehow get us all on board with Rhysand. And I have seen in the online community that people are like obsessed with him, like obsessed with him. So I knew that something was coming, but damn it, she got me. She got me. I'm a Rhysand fangirl. She got me. She got me. It's so, he's just, there's something about him. There's something about him. So you find out that like all the horrible, awful things he did in the first book, like, you know, we didn't have the full story, and like there were reasons, and like, you know, really he's a good guy. And then you find out that like he's you know, been in love with her like this whole time and whatever. And then she finally comes around and realizes she loves him too. And they are mates, which is like a big deal in fairyland. And they have like earth-shattering sex that like rocks the mountains, and it's just it's so over the top, you guys. It's so ridiculous, super cheesy, super corny, but I am here for it. I am here for it. So I knew that people would get like super obsessed with this series, and I totally get it now. So at the Night Court, where Feyre goes to spend her week a month, she gets to meet Rhysand's inner circle, and those characters were so good. So he has like this group of really, really close friends, and you get to know and love them and get some of their backstory. I'm sure we're going to get more in the next book. And I think I like them more than like Feyre and Rhysand. Rhysand's pretty good. Feyre's pretty useless, honestly. But anyway, you know, she's like Bella Swan, just like not much there. But anyway, it was really good. I really did enjoy this book, and I was like messaging Carla Rolodex Stitches, and because I know she's read the series and she loves the series, so I was like messaging her random thoughts as I was reading it. Lots of like eye-rolling, ridiculous, cheesy moments, but fun. Still fun. I'm here for it. I'm gonna read the next book, which is called A Court of Wings and Ruin, Akawar. Right? Yeah. This is Akomath. The first one is Akotar. This is Akomath. The next one is Akawar. This one is shorter, thank God. Why? That's the one thing, the one complaint I've heard about this book is why the heck is it so long? I have to agree. Like, look at that thing. Why is this book so big? So this one looks like a much more manageable, a much more manageable 600 and, no, 700 page, wait. How many pages was this other one? Wait, I'm so confused. This one's more pages. How is that possible? That's so weird. How is this like half the size, but it's the same amount of pages? It must be thinner paper. Okay, well, I lied. They're both, even though this one looks way bigger, they're the same length. So that's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. This is what Sarah J. Maas does. Like, her books are huge. I read the Throne of Glass series. Ugh. I read the whole series, and they're all like 700, 800 pages. So that's just what she does. It's fine. So yeah, I know that a lot of you like have thoughts about this series. So if you want to talk about it, like, that's fine. Let's talk about it. But I have not read the third book yet. So this is the third book. So no spoilers, because the only, like, I did mostly manage to avoid spoilers. The only spoiler I knew was that Feyre was going to end up with Rhysand. I knew that was going to happen. Other than that, I don't know what's going to happen. Other than, there's like a huge joke about, in this one, they have sex while they're flying. And I know a lot of people have joked about that. So can't wait for that. Cannot wait. Okay. That's all I have. This is long enough. Okay. I'm going to leave now. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I know some of you do watch all the way to the end. And if you want to talk about Sarah J. Maas, I think it's Sarah J. Maas. I am Maas trash. Like, I do understand why she's problematic. I understand that her writing is not, I don't know. Like, she gets a lot of criticism as being like a poor writer, or like, I don't even know all the like drama about it, but like, she's one of those writers. She's really, really popular. People like to make fun of her. I do see like the criticism. I do. But I like her books. I loved the Throne of Glass series. Like, I loved it. So, I'm Maas trash. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it, because I have thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. All right, I'm leaving. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.